Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexandra, and today I'm doing an old-fashioned Q&A where I am answering all of your burning questions. The fun thing about this video is that I haven't seen any of the questions. My production assistant, Alana, has them all. So we're splitting them up into 3 categories: design-related questions, personal questions, and then YouTube production questions. I hope that you learned something that you wanted to know about me, I guess, from this video. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so we're gonna start with the first design question. What is it? I think it would be using too many pom-poms. Is that a crime? Okay, funny story about a design crime. So when I started my YouTube career, when I was at Chatelaine, when I worked there, I remember we had filmed maybe the 3rd episode, and the videographer at the time who was shooting it, one of my good friends, pulled me aside and she was like, you know, I feel like you're using way too many pom-poms in your video. She was like, I just feel like people aren't maybe gonna be able to relate to the amount of pom-poms you're using. And she's like, I would suggest like just stopping using pom-poms. And I was kind of crushed. I was like, but I love pom-poms. And after that, after she said that, the pom-pom thing kind of exploded and everyone now associates me with pom-poms. So I'm glad I didn't stop using them. But I would definitely say that that's a design crime. This is a tough question, and I have 2 answers, two-part answer. The first answer I would say is I would challenge as to why you can't paint the wall, because I feel like paint is such an accessible way to really transform your space. I'm guessing that your landlord is saying that you cannot paint at all. So I would say fill it with tons of art that complements that color. So let's say it's a really bright red wall, maybe using yellows and pinks, whites, that kind of thing, and doing a massive gallery wall. You could also do something that's pretty budget friendly, which is hanging a tapestry, just a beautiful tapestry with lots of pattern. So it kind of feels like an art piece, but spans mostly your entire wall. I know Society 6 has some, I know Amazon has some. These are really inexpensive. We will link some down below. Even just going to HomeSense and like finding a beautiful blanket that could double as a tapestry. I would encourage you to paint if you can, but you're saying you can't, so I'm assuming it's a landlord thing. But art goes such a long way. Such a good question. Lighting. I think like a beautiful statement pendant light hanging from your ceiling. If you can't change your ceiling light, then doing like a massive floor lamp. And I think in a rental, that's my #1 piece of advice, is to change all your overhead lights. Lighting definitely really transforms a space. Say no to boob lights is basically my advice. Such a good question. Oh man. I can't say no to IKEA because I feel like there's always something I need from IKEA. I couldn't live without pom-poms because they've become kind of a thing for me. Actually, my mom just bought me a pom-pom pillow, literally texted me today. I'll insert a photo here. Thanks, Mom. Oh, but I really love tassels too. Okay, I would say no to tassels because pom-poms kind of double as that like texture. And IKEA is just like, I'd be saying no to baskets, lights, beds, sheets, the list goes on. So tassels. Good question. I love having like a really big open studio apartment to redo, or a space that challenges me. I love taking everything out of a room and like standing in it for a while and just really trying to come up with a plan in my mind. It's literally how I work. I just stand in a room and I just like stare at walls and talk things out with Alana and just like mull it over and think it over. But I love having like a fresh canvas to kind of reimagine. I also really like tackling bedrooms because I just love how many different elements there are. You can change the lights, you can change the linens, you can solve storage issues. There's just like so many things to change. Okay, so So now we have reached the personal question section. I'm a little bit nervous for this one. Okay, ask away. I got this question asked a lot. No, I didn't study interior design, and that's kind of the whole point of my channel. That's why I started my channel, because I kind of have the mentality of like, I can do it, you can do it as well. I went to school for journalism. I studied journalism and studio arts, so I was into photography and writing. When I graduated, I landed an internship at Chatelaine magazine in Toronto, and I assisted the home editor there. And then I took over her position when she left and became the home editor. And yeah, I just like fell in love with it. What I do now kind of combines all the things that I love. I always loved rearranging my room. I always loved magazines and like looking at different ideas. I loved photography, I love writing, and now my job has kind of turned into what I feel is like really changing the way people feel in their spaces, not just how they look, but how people feel in their spaces. And I think it really makes an impact in people's lives. So yeah, that's how I got into it. I definitely think Emily Henderson, who I don't stop talking to Alana about, not just because of her designs, but where she started. So she also is not an interior designer. She started out as a stylist. And I think it's proof that if you really have a passion for something and you have a good eye and you love what you do, then you can make a career out of it. And I don't think that going to school for something necessarily means that it makes you an expert at it. I just think like immersing yourself in that world, like I've immersed myself in home decor for the past, I'd say like 6 years. It's all I've done. So like Emily, I've kind of just, been developing my style, and it's only now, I would say like 3 years in, that I really feel much more confident in what I'm doing. Sorry, that was a tangent. Emily, so many people on Instagram like Reserve Home. Is that her name? Reserve Home? She has this beautiful home that's filled with like so many interesting patterns and colors. Who else? Instead of like people, I would say just on Instagram, I love following people's reno journeys. Actually, there's a really great account, I'll link her here, called Arrows and Bows. She is redesigning her entire home, like they're gutting it and renovating it. She's someone that I really love following on Instagram. But yeah, I definitely think that Instagram is a huge source of inspiration for me, whether that's finding pictures I like or people I follow. That doesn't really answer the question, but I would say those are like my top 3 right now. I also love following YouTubers like Zoe Sugg, Velvet Ghost, that's her handle. Her name's Gabriella. She just redid her entire apartment and actually put in these like beautiful herringbone floors. Lone Fox on YouTube. What I try to do and with my channel, and what I love seeing in other people's channels, is like watching people kind of figure it out and watching people through the whole process. And it's like, if they can do it, then I feel confident that I can do it too. I feel like I need to go look at my stack of books. Hold on. I just finished reading Three Women. It was incredible. It took me a while to finish it, but oh my gosh, it was such an incredible book. This is sitting on my night table. I'm starting In the Land of Men. It's a fierce and funny memoir about coming of age in the male-dominated literary world of the 90s, becoming the first female literary editor of Esquire. I really enjoy a good memoir. If you guys have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I also have a post on Instagram that I posted a few months ago, and I asked for book recommendations. I think the post has like over 100 comments from people recommending books. So I will try and link to that specific post, because if you guys are looking for a good read, there's so many suggestions. I also just bought this book, Nomad. This is actually by the editor that I assisted at Chatelaine. Her name's Emma Reddington. There's a picture of her. Yeah, this is Emma. I actually remember her writing this proposal when we worked together. And so to actually see her book come to life is so cool. She traveled all over the world to interview and photograph people living in like really unique homes. So like an RV, people that live in boats. So this is someone whose home is in a boat. This is Arrow Bose, the woman on YouTube. They used to live in an RV. They've moved into a home now. But just like beautiful, tiny homes. I'll link both these books down below, but Emma is incredible, and I know she worked so hard on this, and it really shows. Look, they live in this tiny little camper van. That's so cool. The next section is YouTube/production questions. My dream collab, I'm laughing because every 5 seconds I say this to Elena and she's probably sick of me, but I would really love to collab with the Story Girls. I know Becky and Kelsey. I just need to find the perfect opportunity for us to collab because I know that there's one. I just collabed with Wendy. I'll link that video up here. It was such a fun shoot and I just love Wendy. She's like a little angel sent from above. And then Zoe Sugg, who I have been following for years. She was the first person that I ever watched on YouTube. She released a video about struggling with anxiety and my dad had emailed it to me because I was going through a really tough time with anxiety and I was like, why is this person talking to a camera in their bedroom? Like, it was very confusing. And so she was the first person that I kind of followed on YouTube and I really have loved her content. And yeah, she would be my ultimate dream collab. Actually, maybe I'll test the power of the internet. If you guys are watching this right now, tag Zoe down in the comments and be like, Zoe Sugg, collab with Alexandra. Or go to her channel and comment on her latest video and say she needs to collab with me. Let's see if we can make this happen. I have been kind of overwhelmed with how negative YouTube gets sometimes. And I know YouTubers talk about this all the time, but I think especially in the home decor world, I'm not telling you guys to do exactly what I've done. I'm just filming something that I love to do, which is making over spaces. And I've chosen to do things for a specific reason. I love getting feedback. Some of the feedback I actually really take into consideration. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe I should have thought about that differently. And I think when it really gets bothersome is when people make it like a personal attack. So I try to not read comments as much as I can. I've addressed before that for a while I was getting lots of comments on my body specifically, and those are really tough because I'm not talking about my body on YouTube. I'm talking about decorating your couch with lots of fun cushions. So getting those comments are really hard. And I think how I deal with them is I just try to remember that there are so many people that appreciate my content, which makes me the happiest ever. And I love all of your DMs on Instagram and all of your comments and all of your emails. And I just try and filter out as much of the negativity as possible and try to remember that it's not going to check everyone's boxes of what they would do, but that's okay. And I hope that you feel inspired when you watch my content. I hope that it gives you an idea that you never thought about, even if you don't agree with every choice that I've made in the process. Another way that I have been handling mean comments or criticism is by making a joke out of it with the people that surround me on a daily basis. So an example is I received this lovely email from a viewer. I'm being sarcastic. It was not a very nice email from someone who told me that I wouldn't know design even if I ate a design sandwich. At first I wasn't laughing, but then as I read it over again and was kind of telling people about it, it's hilarious. It's a hilarious line. And so I asked my good friend Leandra, who is an incredible illustrator, to make an art print out of it. What's even funnier about this comment is that I had been looking for an art piece for my bathroom for, I'm not even kidding, a week and a half. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I just can't figure out what I want to put into the bathroom. And then when this viewer, or when this woman sent in this comment, I was like, that is the perfect art piece. So she not only made me realize that I can laugh at these comments, but she also fixed my problem of not having art in my bathroom. And for that, I will forever be grateful. So thank you to whoever sent in that scathing email. It was a fun read, and it's an even more fun art piece. Okay, those are all the questions. Thank you guys so much for asking them. I hope you learned something new. Thanks to Alana for corralling all the questions and asking them. And I will see you guys next week. Okay, bye.